Have you ever seen those level recommendations at the start of most DLCs? It was like, nah homie, I'm good to go. No? Well, I have. In this video, we're going to see if you can beat Honest Hearts on Hardcore, Very Hard, Naked, and at level 1. While you get your popcorn or tea put together, I'm going to do a quick rundown on how I tackled character creation. I started off by naming my character after one of my exes from grade school. Mackenzie, if you were listening, I still love you despite how clammy your hands were. For my special stats, I took Perception and Charisma as dump stats while focusing on Intelligence and Endurance. Guns, Sneak, and Survival were my selections for tag skills, and my traits consisted of Logan's Loophole and Skilled like usual. Because we are starting off this challenge naked, I strip all of my gear and throw it in the sarsaparilla crate in Minstrel's house. Walking out in the wasteland for the first time since eating a tomato cheese wrap, I type in a top secret command in the console to get me to the start of the DLC and double check my game settings. Now that we are all prepped, let's talk with Jed Masterson.
Howdy, friend. Heard my little broadcast, did you? Yeah, you look the type.
My god, he might be sexier than Jason Bourne. Fallout in Vegas, Honest Hearts, is a DLC that takes place in Zion. If you thought you were going to get a history lesson, you thought wrong, because that is literally all I know. I have played this DLC twice over the span of a decade. Needless to say, I am completely unqualified to make this video. I have a nice pep talk with the rest of the group before watching them all get slaughtered by the scripted ambush from the Whitelegs. Looting their corpses give me a few items, most notably the hunting rifle, grenade rifle, and leather armor. I killed the Whitelegs with relative ease by using the hunting rifle. Unfortunately, as I found out along the way, ammo is perhaps the biggest limiting factor when it comes to this run. So much so that after I run out of these dozen or so bullets, I won't be able to get it anymore. I met up with Follows Chalk, a cool though rather chatty companion that is a big help throughout the first few sections here. As much said as I am undoubtedly going to talk about the quests in this DLC, it is certainly pretty. The beautiful water, both in the river and rain, are gorgeous and really bring the place to life by complementing all the vegetation. I saw a Yaogwai that looked fluffier than Cheyenne, so I made sure to let it watch me kill its children before ultimately murdering them. I wasn't able to inquire about their desired pronouns, so here we are. My first level up gives me increased survival and rapid reload. Chalk has a cool ability that lets him point out nearby locations should you reach a good vantage point. This also increases your perception for a short while. As is the same for my other two runs, Dead Money and Lonesome Road. I looted as much as I could without going too far out of my way. That said, I'm not a completionist and likely won't be returning to this character, so a cool few side quests were skipped over. The grenade rifle sure made a great impression here, and it's a shame I don't have more ammo for it. Sure, I could have tried waiting for the Burn Man to restock, but Mr. Owl isn't that smart when he plays games. I mean, just the other day he kept asking who. I love scripts. I can talk about literally anything while the screen is showing me fight for my life. Banana bread is so good. Towers are a great source of loot. Usually medicine and food can be found in all of them, as well as some cool park ranger hats. Hydro homie for life? On my way to Dead Horse something something, I disarmed several bear traps hidden in the water. I will probably mention this another 5 or 6 times, but Zion is sexy as fuck. So is this chick.
You know our tongue.
Not yet, but I'd love to. Joshua Graham informs us that he needs to get equipment to make it easier to leave Zion in the event of a retreat. Before heading out to do his bidding like a good boy, I stock up supplies and sell our goods. Finding a broken compass, I repair it with a nearby sensor module. In Zion, there are a few things that want to kill you. Mantis, geckos, mole rats, and Yaogwai are just the few that I've killed in this series of cuts, but you'll get to see more as we get further along. Finding the fishing lodge, I step inside and immediately open fires on the geckos. I'm normally not much of an energy weapon kind of guy, but as I've mentioned, ammo is scarce. Despite this, Chalk and I mop up the place, grab the key in the closet by accident, and take the walkie-talkies out of the cabinet for Daniel before enjoying the wonderful rain. Rain like this almost makes you wish for a nuclear summer. The Whitelegs weren't too bad to deal with when I had ammo, as the 45 automatic machine gun just rips right through them. When allies were nearby, I was able to conserve my ammo. This took a little longer, but I leveled up regardless, grabbing guns and Radchild. To my knowledge, there is no active source of radiation in Zion, making this perk reliant on consumed food for rads. As I have discussed before, this perk isn't necessary, but I find it ridiculously useful in combating the inability to sleep to regain hit points that hardcore mode presents. If you didn't understand a single word of those ramblings, just know I trigger the perk by irradiating myself through food. The general store is a great place to grab lunch boxes that are needed for the quest, presumably for trail mix with raisins, as well as a whole bunch of food that conveniently has rads. One door closes and another opens, bringing me inside the Zion Ranger Station. Here we are looking for medical supplies. Unfortunately, they are contaminated when we arrive, due to my body odor, but I am able to sterilize the kit with alcohol that I am always strapped with because of my hoarding issue. It is here, after consuming a copious amounts of Blanco mac and cheese, that I am able to get the lowest rank of radiation poisoning, allowing me to wait an hour to regenerate my health instead of using precious supplies. I love that all of the sentences in this script make no sense outside of the context of Fallout. Approaching another ranger tower, I put a green gecko out of its miserable existence with a caravan shotgun I got from one of the Whitelegs. Up the stairs, I find a collection of goods in a duffel bag, and another ranger hat that makes me look like a drill sergeant. After forgetting that you have to walk behind the waterfall, I speak with Daniel and give him the goods before he tells me to start paving a way for their escape, including getting the map of the Grand Staircase, a wilderness area to the east.
Recover a map of Grand Staircase, a wilderness area to the east.
Now listen here, mister, I just said that. On the way out of camp, I adopt Waking Cloud as my own child and do some trading with the Burn Man. Heading for the map, I return to Fallout 3 before wasting all of my ammo on the plants. I hate these guys. They're super easy to kill from far away, but they remind me of my old eating disorder when they just throw up everywhere. After stepping on a few traps, I get the key for the next room. This room just feels so nice and cozy. I would totally live in a cave during the apocalypse. Reminds me of the good old days of Minecraft, building a base next to a mob spawner and basically living underground. Fortunately, our sexy Cloud can do some serious damage because I struggled to even do the slightest bit. Withstanding the damage from the Whitelegs isn't really that big of a deal because most of them utilize melee attacks, rather than attacking from range. In hindsight, I would have farmed the only vendor in this DLC for more ammo, as well as picked up the Shotgun Surgeon perk. After Miss Cloud suggested that we steal their totem, I do just that by sneaking into camp through their tents, and proceed to watch her brutally murder all of them single-handedly. She's kind of a badass. The next camp goes about the same, but I do get a little bit cocky, and almost end up dead, because one of the Whitelegs was using the Survivalist Rifle. Just after snagging off their corpse, I put my points into guns and grabbed the Hunter perk. I thought that this was kind of cool, killing a Whiteleg and 2 rad scorpions that just appeared out of nowhere. The next main objective is disarming all of the traps along this bridge and preventing the Whitelegs from doing it again by way of murder. I love that the answer to every section of this game can be murder. This part wasn't too bad because I had enough ammo to get the job done. Rather than actually fighting all the Yaogwai in this cave, I just decided to blow the whole thing up with explosives Daniel gave me. Placing 3 charges throughout different areas and making a strategic retreat allows me to blow it sky high. Not literally, of course, because it didn't move much, like at all. That's beside the point though. Leveling up, I put the points into medicine and returned back to Daniel. The other 2 times that I've completed this DLC, I sided with Graham. I spiced things up a little and went with Daniel for this run by encouraging them all to run for their lives. After a game crash, I grab this idiot and start heading for my objectives. This was my least favorite section of the DLC, which is a shame because it's at its end. There's no fast travel, Graham bugged out, meaning he was literally no help for most of this, and the quests are 3 separate optional objectives rather than being a far more linear option with Graham. To make matters worse, I was almost completely out of ammo. I just threw a lot of negativity your way, and I apologize. But don't you worry, I'll make it up to you. Breaking out the Survivalist Rifle and my limited ammo for it, Graham and I killed the Whitelegs who took a few hostages in one of the ranger towers, before finding a key upstairs in a toolbox to get them to safety. I'm just going to pretend that Graham got those people to safety because afterwards, I never saw him again. Next up was clearing the bridge. I used a similar tactic that I used on Bonesaw on the Lonesome Road, by throwing down several landmines before going into close quarters with a grenade rifle we got at the very beginning of this run, and the caravan shotgun. At this point, I tried waiting for Graham to come to me. I also spent 15 minutes trying to track him down, but his marker on the map just kept moving to different places. Giving up on him, I head for the burial site where I'm joined by my new allies, Dancing Flames. They did most of the work, but I helped them out by giving them a grenade and getting a few shots off with my shotgun. This is actually pretty neat being able to see the care that they display for the remains of their people. While in real life this is common courtesy, caring about remains in a wasteland is something else. It reminds me of the quest for the woman in Camp McCarran, the unmarked, a final plan for Esteban. Getting to Salt Upon Wounds was harder than actually killing him. I completely ran out of ammo and ended up using a machete to commit glorious murder. Leveling up let me put points into melee weapons, although 3 seconds later I found the body of a Soro with a Yaogwai claw and decided to use that instead. It's an unarmed weapon. Getting to the final area, I popped myself full of all the drugs I had and proceeded to beat the poop out of the guy, with the help of Daniel and a few others. As long as he didn't land several consecutive hits in, I was just fine. After leaving him a little bit salty, I talked with Daniel and told him that we were all set. Him and the others fled through the tunnel and I blew it up, preventing any white legs from following. Looting the final chest and leaving Zion, I beat Fallout New Vegas Honest Hearts on very hard difficulty, hardcore, naked, and at level 1. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, maybe you should check out my other 2 similar runs of Lonesome Road and Dead Money. Regardless, have a good one.